Hello, everybody. It's Slushy, and today we're going to be reviewing it, Chapter 2.
The cloud. We can't let it happen again.
Hello.
Please.
So, I saw this back in theaters, back when it came out. And to be honest, I planned on doing a review of it. It's just, I never really quite got around to it. If anybody knows me, I think I've told this story before, that the first movie, was actually the first R-rated horror movie I'd seen in theaters. And it was also the first horror movie I'd ever seen in theaters. So, even if that film would have been just average, I would have been super overjoyed to have that as my first experience, just because it was my first, so it's always going to have a special place for me. The second one, I do have some faults with this. I think this is one of the first times I've ever done a movie review. Besides a movie I did called The Woods, that movie was absolutely horrible. I'm pretty sure though, that's the only movie I've ever done that's gotten a horrible score for me. But this movie, I'll tell you, it's a major step down from the first one. Some people disagree with me. It's an opinion thing. That's the great thing about art. It's subjective. I could say it sucks. You could say you love it. I mean, that's why you got to give stuff a chance. You don't know. I could hate it. You can love it. But I don't hate it. I want to make that clear. I do not hate this movie. It's just whenever I was a huge fan of the first film, going into this, it's like they didn't care as much. It's like they just sort of made it to make it. And honestly, I mean, it has a purpose because it's telling the story of the adults, but honestly, it just feels so lifeless. Like, it doesn't have the same power in the story. It doesn't have the same vibes. Like, I don't even feel sorry for the characters. It doesn't, to me personally, it doesn't really feel like the same kids when they've grown up. Except for maybe, like, Richie, Eddie, and also there's a whole ton of unnecessary vulgarity. I mean, there's, like, over the top with the vulgarity. You're dropping the F bomb every few minutes or every few seconds. It's rather forced, or at least it feels incredibly forced. There's a ton of comedy in this movie, which, I'm a fan of comedy. I love comedy. I don't love it like a crap ton of my horror movies. But, it's good. It's good to mix in a little comedy into your horror movie because then, you catch people off guard. You get people laughing, and then next scene you could have like a thing with Pennywise and it scares the hell out of you. But it seems like there's a little bit too much comedy, at least for me, for my liking. The musical score, again, is absolutely amazing. The direction by Andres Muschietti is absolutely fantastic. Again, the portrayal of Pennywise by Bill Skarsgård is, again, absolutely amazing.
It's real. It isn't happening. It isn't real. Come back and play! Come back and play with the clown!
It's just, like I said, these minor things that ultimately come together to make this a lesser good of a film than the first one. And the main thing, really, for me being is the whole lack of no emotion. It's like there was no emotion written into this script. I mean, it's the same characters. You would think you would have the same love and just in general care for those characters, but yet I didn't feel a damn thing. Like, they could have all died, frankly, and I wouldn't have been affected. Had those kids died, it would have torn me up because I got so connected to those characters. The story was written beautifully in the first film. And then this feels like someone completely different wrote it. The same guy wrote it, Gary Dauberman, who's famous for doing the Annabelle movies. He's wrote the Annabelle and Conjuring movies, and he even directed the last Annabelle film. So, yeah, that's the deal with that. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent film. It's not something that I would gush about, as you can tell. I don't really have a huge amount of positives to talk about it, but it's just, for me, the negatives of this film just outweigh the positive. And in general, I'm going to say something completely bold. I didn't think it was scary. I didn't think it was scary or even creepy whatsoever. Like, at no point was I freaked out, creeped out, scared. The first film made me jump a few times. This did nothing for me. So all in all, that to me, that's why this is just a very underperforming film. Again, I was excited to see it in theaters because this reminded me of the first time I saw it in theaters, which was my first film. So I was happy. I knew I had to see the second one in theaters. It's just something I had to do, being that I did see the first one. But I gotta say, the cover art, take a look at the cover art. The cover art's amazing. I have to say, I love it better than the first one. This is like the only thing I love better than the first one is this cover. This is absolutely beautiful, stunning, amazing. You pull down the DVD, you pull down the Blu-ray cover, it's exactly the same. You know what I wish people would do, though? Is have a certain slipcover that looks like this, and then pull it down, and it would be a completely different picture. I don't know. To me, that would make buying physical copies a lot more fun. Because with me, the reason why I love collecting movies is, in general, to have the copy, to be able to hold it in my hands rather than just streaming. And it's just cool to see. It really is cool to see. But the back also looks incredibly cool. Picture of Pennywise. Really cool picture of Pennywise. A truly epic conclusion to one of the greatest horror stories in cinema history. Well, maybe it's too epic. Okay? Maybe it's too epic. Maybe it's too Hollywood. Okay? I know I've said a lot of negatives about this. I've said a few positive things about it, but ultimately this film's gonna get it's gonna get about a 6 out of 10 for me. I really wish they would have done something more to this, put more emotion into the plot and the characters and stuff, make me feel for these characters. So, by the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, I recommend you click off now and then come back whenever you had. Okay, so that's just a warning. But whenever Eddie died in this film, I didn't feel anything. I was just like, okay, bye. I mean, I didn't feel anything. So that just furthermore proves the character development just wasn't as good in this film. And again, it's an okay movie. It really is. In comparison to a lot of movies, it's pretty good. But comparing it to the original remake, no. Even you compare this to the original, and everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of the original. I would put the original over this, so that should tell you something. And I dislike the original. Like, I really do. I do not. There's hardly anything I like about it. Tim Curry is amazing. That's about it. And even then, he wasn't creepy as Pennywise, in my opinion. I know I'm going to start up an uproar, but that's just my opinion again. Everybody hates Bill Skarsgård. It's popular to hate Bill Skarsgård, actually, because he's a remake actor. But yeah, you know, it's a fun watch. I'd watch this. I've watched it like 2 or 3 times since it came out on DVD, which it's not. That's not the most I've ever watched a movie. Like, generally, if I really love a movie, I'll watch it like 10 times, like really soon after getting it. In this one, I just don't have an interest. The runtime is insanely long. It feels like you're just, being dragged through it. This is the first time I think I've ever given such a poor review to a movie, besides The Woods. The Woods was absolutely a horrible film. But this, you know, it's an okay film. I like I said, I'd give it about maybe a 6.5 out of 10 to be fair. But yeah, again, the cover art, absolutely beautiful. And I love quite a few things about this, but I also hate a lot more. So, yeah, that's my review of it, Chapter 2. And I'm also wearing my Pennywise shirt. You couldn't really probably tell, but yeah, I just figured I'd point that out. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on it, Chapter 2. Did you love it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or did you just think it was okay? Let me know down below. Did you like the original remake? Did you like the original miniseries? Let me know down below. And yeah, hit like if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you've not already. Hit that bell to get notified anytime I make a video or a stream. Keep up to date with the channel. There's always something crazy going on. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.